Hi, it's Craig here. Okay, what we're going to do today is look at one of my blog posts. SDG4 using SDG4 using direct-to-handset satellite. Now, SDG4, I should explain, it stands for Sustainable Development Goal 4, and it is one of 17 Sustainable Development Goals created in 2015 by the United Nations. So let's have a look at this blog. Apologies. Yeah, I had COVID recently. I seem to have developed a cough. It's quite annoying. Right, SDG4 using direct-to-handset satellite connectivity. Direct-to-handset is the connection of standard mobile phones, or as Americans would call it, cell phones. So direct-to-handset is the connection of standard mobile phone handsets straight from a communication satellite. Traditional mobile phones connect to the nearest cell tower on Earth. These towers only have a relatively short distance communications coverage, so there are many of them within a relatively local area. What is SDG4? SDG4 is short for Sustainable Development Goal 4. SDG4 is one of 17 goals set by the United Nations, or the UN as it's also short and known as, in 2015 with the aim to achieve them by 2030. The aim of SDG4 is to ensure that all children and youths have access to quality education. Although access to education worldwide has improved over the last 6 decades, millions still can't access it. Direct-to-handset communications via satellite offers a way to help address the challenge. Traditional mobile or cell phone connectivity is uneconomic to implement in remote areas of the world. One reason is because of the costs associated with what is known as backhaul. Backhaul is how the cell tower is connected to the rest of the network. Backhaul via fibre optic links isn't feasible due to the remote locations of local populations. Another backhaul technology used in traditional cellular networks is satellite or microwave links. This can solve the backhaul issue, but there is a second issue. The second is financial. Remote communities in the poorest parts of the world aren't exactly cash cows. It is not financially viable for private telecommunications companies to install infrastructure to connect remote communities. $1 a day is apparently what people in many parts of the world have to live on. These people could not afford to pay what the telecoms company would need to charge to make a profit. Good news, direct-to-handset connectivity via satellite is now a reality. Or at least it's coming. The technology exists. We as a world have the ability to connect even the remotest communities in the world. Connecting people to the internet will help achieve SDG4 as well as the other SDGs. Remember, SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goal and is one of 17 SDGs created by the UN in 2015. I heard on Radio 4 yesterday someone say that we are now all online. Not true. It is estimated that there are according to the 2023 figures, I need to check the latest ones that should be about to be released. It is estimated that there are 2.7 billion people still not connected to the internet. Achieving the goal of quality education for all, which is the objective of Sustainable Development Goal 4, needs all people to be able to access information. Internet connectivity and the UN Sustainable Development Goal 4, I should say, I've missed development out, go hand in hand in helping meet the 2030 target. SDG4, using direct-to-handset satellite, can help achieve this. Now, you'll see a video here. This was, well, actually did there's two versions of this. There's a stand-up talk and this one, but for various technical reasons, this is the one that was used, that has gone out, which is fine. I did enjoy standing up and doing the other talk though. It was very interesting, very enjoyable, memorable experience. Right, so here we go.
Great, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Let me ask, how can satellite technology help achieve the SDG4 goals?
SDG4 goals, just for those that don't know, Sustainable Development Goal 4, one of 17 Sustainable Development Goals that the UN announced in 2015, and they plan to complete by 2030. Unfortunately, we've only achieved 15% overall. We're halfway through the 15-year period. One way it could do it, let me explain, there's 2.6 billion people unconnected at the moment, which is roughly 33% of the population, of the world population. There's also 263 million children and youths, according to UNESCO's 2018 report, not attending school. What we could do with the latest in low Earth orbit satellite technology is you can now have the potential to connect directly from the satellite to a standard mobile phone. By doing this, we can then provide online learning to those 263 million children and youths that haven't got education, and it's also a way of connecting 2.6 billion which haven't got internet connectivity so far. So it's benefit both, but primarily I'm focusing on the SDG4 goal.
So you mentioned there the low Earth orbit satellite technology.
Yeah.
What's different about that?
Well, there's low Earth orbit satellites. There's two. I mean, the way you normally connect at the moment is with a terminal unit, which is a device on the ground that communicates with the satellite, and then you can connect your computer to that terminal unit. Now, there's a new technology whereby you can connect a smartphone directly to the low Earth orbit satellite. Now, this is not to be confused with traditional satellite phones, which are a specialist handset which communicate with satellite. This is the standard mobile phone. So if you could connect anywhere to a standard mobile phone and even use recycled ones, refurbished ones. I mean, who hasn't got a smartphone lying around their door at home? If we could redistribute those, there were apps already in existence to help provide education to the developing world. It's just at the moment, like I said, there's 2.6 billion people not connected. So this direct-to-handset connectivity to LEO satellites is a way which we could A, connect those 2.6 billion, and B, provide education to those without education, the 263 million I mentioned.
Well, that's quite a shocking number, isn't it, really? How can we make use, do you think, of recycling technology or recycled technology to help bring that education to those children?
Right, well, we could use technology that we've just got lying around that's not the latest phone that we don't use, that we've got lying in our drawers. There's also another thing we could do is we could bring, so not only could we provide education to that smartphone to people that need it, maybe they're a displaced refugee or they're in a remote location, so they can then get direct education to that phone. But we can also, if we use a box like this, for instance, this is just a solar panel and a box, but if we put those repurposed, recycled, reused mobile phones into the box, and we can tether to that box, so this could go on top of a building in a community that hasn't got internet, and then we can access that using recycled technology. It doesn't just have to be phones. So this could be the unit you tether to, so the community Wi-Fi. You could tether using an old Windows XP computer, for instance, you may have lying around at home. You can put open source software on, which is free, community developed, secure software some governments and schools around the world actually use on their computer systems. You can install that on recycled hardware, and that can be distributed, thus helping with sustainability, because we're not sending things to landfill.
And that's, you sort of asked the next question really, about making this sustainable. I guess, as you mentioned, we've all got a lot of redundant technology lying around in our houses, but it can be reused and then constantly reused from that point.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a computer which I used to teach at a further education college. I won't mention which one, but that's why they were chucking out a load of Windows XP computers. Before nothing wrong with that. So with their permission, I took one home, took off the Windows XP, put on some open source software, the operating system, and some download word processing. And basically, I ran a business with it for 5 years. Did tax returns a lot. Fine. Didn't even need an antivirus because it was very secure.
Wow.
Fine.
So it's extending the half-life of technology as well, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And aside from the obvious sort of communication benefits, what do you think would be the main advantages of connecting those 263 million children you mentioned?
The alternative, which they may face, I mean, imagine you didn't get an education, or I didn't get an education. You could end up in child labour or child marriage. If we can give people an education, it's going to help their life chances. Everyone's got dreams.
Yeah, it's a little bit of hope.
It's hope basically. It's just not right that we've had an education, we've got life opportunity. Why haven't they? It's just not right.
No, you're absolutely right. And of course, a lot of the barriers to the solutions for these is always built around cost. Do you know of any funding models that we could use to pay, for example, the satellite operators to access?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Okay, if you're interested, if you type in my name, Craig Miles, and then put TEDx after it, you should be able to find the video on the internet, the full one, if you watched all of it. But that was my interview during the TEDx talk. Okay, right. Well, let's. So what we've been talking about today, apart from me coughing, the SDG4 using direct-to-handset satellite technology. Like I said, technology exists. It's been proven it works. It's not mainstream yet. I mean, services are starting to happen initially with text-based services, but they have proven that you can run broadband and voice over these same low Earth orbit satellites, so providing connectivity to all parts of the world. So being able to provide education everywhere using donated second-hand equipment is possible. You'll be hearing more about direct-to-device technology, probably more toward the end of this year, next year. I know a number of operators are developing and starting to roll this out. This talk I did in October 2023, you could argue was slightly ahead of its time, but it was a TEDx talk, and the idea is to share new ideas. So yeah, that's what I did. But the actual practical implementation of this technology and how it can help in education, yeah, it's good. I mean, we have technology. There are other low Earth orbit technologies such as Starlink, which have a little terminal unit, which is great, and that is doing a lot. And there are initiatives to get this into schools around the world to provide internet connectivity. But with being able to connect direct to a standard mobile phone handset anywhere in the world and using donated equipment, it opens up the possibility of education for those, as I mentioned earlier, the 263 million in the UNESCO report from 2018 that don't have a school to go to. Right, let me know what you think. I know my tech videos are normally, when I'm talking about induction motors, normally are more popular, but I thought I just picked a blog post at random and talked about it. Hope you find it interesting. This is Craig. Where's the off button?